Sponsored by the Big 98, Nashville's #1 for new country and the home of the Bobby Bones Show.
We're so thrilled to have on platinum-selling country music singer-songwriter. He's got a brand new album out, Easton Corbin. Easton, it's good to have you back in.
Yeah, man, it's good to be here as always.
This new album that came out in January, wow.
Yeah.
I mean, 14 songs. It's like, we were talking before we came in studio. It's like, what great songs. You know, how did you come up with these?
Oh, thank you, man. Well, it's been a weird time for everybody, you know, but, these last 2 or 3 years, I took that time to write songs that I love.
Right.
And, that really made me, want to do this for a living.
Mm-hmm.
And, they always say that you have your whole life to write your first record. And then after that, it's just bam, bam, bam. Well, these last 2 or 3 years have kind of almost given me that back and just giving me that time where there's no pressure.
Right.
You just go in, write a song. If you hook it that day, great. If you don't, let's come back and look at it. And if we don't hook it at that point, we just move on.
Well, and you had some great co-writers on this album, too.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And so, let's talk about a few of these.
Yeah.
Go ahead and, you can mention them. And also your two great producers.
Yeah, absolutely. Derek George and Wade Kirby produced the record, and they're also great writers as well. Ashley Gorley, Rhett Akins, David Lee Murphy. I mean, you name it, man. I'm just so blessed to have their talent be a part of it.
Well, and also with you, with Let's Do Country Right, I think one of the things I love about this album and what you have always done so well is you're able to bring the traditional country, but also the modern country. It's like, and a lot of people, we were talking about that.
Yes, yeah.
A lot of people can't do both.
Yeah, it's funny you say that. That's kind of, I've always taken pride in that what I like to do, because I love traditional country music.
Right.
I do, love it. But along with that, you got to keep it fresh. You got to keep it modern. And to me, the important thing for me and my goal is to always keep one foot in that traditional and honor that, and bring that other foot in the modern and marry those two things together. And I've always taken kind of notes from George Strait. He's always been kind of a master of that. That yes, it's that traditional sound, but it still sounds fresh and it's evolving.
Right. Well, and on this new album too, and I mean, not to embarrass you, but it's like, I don't think your voice has ever sounded stronger. It's like, with the lyrics and, like you and I were talking about listening through the whole album with all the tracks. And unfortunately, one of the songs is going to be heard at every wedding for I don't know how many years. I mean, was that by design?
I hope you're right. Absolutely.
I'm telling you, it will be.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's a special song. I was writing with Adam Craig and Wade, Kirby and Shane Miner, and as most writes start, it's just a big BS session, kind of catching up with everybody. And I don't know how we got on the subject, but Adam started talking about his wife and how he didn't really know her, but when he first met her, he knew he was going to marry that girl. And I was like, oh, don't just that might be a title, because I can't tell you how many times we just come up with titles just out of just shooting the breeze,
Yeah, but I mean, what a great song and what a great title. And as soon as I heard this, I thought, the next wedding I play, I might have to play this. I might as well work it up.
Please do,
now.
come on.
Yeah, but I think one of my other favorite songs that you did on here was Hey Merle.
I love Hey Merle. That's one of my favorites.
Yeah.
Yeah, the story kind of behind that is me and Wade were coming, we always like go to lunch or whatever. We were doing vocals maybe that day or something, and we broke for lunch, and which is our favorite pastime, I think, And coming back, he's like, man, I kind of got this song title. And he said, what do you think about it? It's Hey Merle. And I said, oh, that's pretty cool. I was like, but the important thing is about this song title, it's like, man, we got to hook it.
Right.
The approach on it is so important. It's like, you don't want to waste a title like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, Rodney Clausen was in there with us on that one. And, I think we took the right approach on it.
Yeah, I totally agree. Well, it's funny because when I saw the title, I thought of like, it reminded me of like the Opry, which obviously, you've appeared on the Opry a number of times and everything, but it's like, it's just a fun, catchy song that gets hooked in your head.
And the title's interesting. It's like when you see a title like that, it's like, man, I got to go listen to that because it's interesting.
Well, and and once again with the other songs too, I got to bring this one up. A hidden gem is In It.
I love In It.
But the lyrics, it's like, you really went deep on these lyrics for this song.
Yeah.
I mean,
I didn't write that one. That's one or two that I didn't write. But that's been such a special song. I actually recorded that on my last Mercury record that never came out.
Right.
And it was such a special song that I was like, man, I got to get Benny to listen to this thing. I think he'll really like it. And so that was kind of a second chance song, I guess you'd call it.
Well, I got to bring this up too. Obviously, growing up in Trenton, Florida and everything, and then, you, like so many people, moved here in 2006 as a songwriter. When you drive by an Ace Hardware or when you go in one, do you ever feel like you should restock the shelves?
Man, I tell you what, I spent a long time at Ace Hardware. I worked there during college.
Right.
Then as soon as I moved to Nashville, the first thing I wanted to do, we didn't have a Bass Pro Shop anywhere close. Well, Orlando was probably the closest.
Yeah.
And me being a kind of redneck country boy, where do you want to work? It's like, oh, Bass Pro, because I get the 10% discount or 20% discount. And they ended up not hiring me, which is probably a blessing because I'd have probably spent my whole check there.
I know I would too.
And I went straight to Ace Hardware, and the guy literally on the spot was like, "You're hired," and hired me right there. So I worked there all through up till I got my record deal, and through that, because it takes, it's a process to do the deal, and until I went in the studio and I just didn't have time to work anymore.
Yeah.
So I worked all the way up until that.
But but what a great story too, Easton, to where, like so many people that come here to town, it's like, you got to do the day job, and then you were playing, songwriter rounds at night.
I sure was.
And paid your dues, and just like, with starting out guitar at 14 and learning from Pee Wee Milton.
Yeah, man, he was
the session player.
He was a great player, and for some reason, he obviously from Greenville, South Carolina, he chose Steinhatchee, Florida to retire to. And it's like nobody's ever heard of Steinhatchee, except for us local people.
Right.
And, just as for something to do, started teaching guitar at a place called Dixie Music in Old Town, Florida, which was literally right across the river. Wow. And it was about a 5-minute drive from the house. So I remember going, I think I went every Wednesday, Tuesday, or Wednesday, something like that. And then I started going twice a week.
Right.
And just a great experience, man. And, I give him so much credit.
Well, and it didn't take you long either, Easton, to where, from learning guitar, singing, doing songwriting, and all this stuff, and then you end up winning spots, opening up for Janie Fricke and Mel McDaniels.
Yeah.
From there to now, how does it feel? With the huge tour going on this year,
Man, it's been such a journey, and such a learning experience and such a blessing. You look back on that stuff and you're like, man, how did that happen? And I don't know, you look at it and you're like, it didn't just by accident happen.
Right.
Right. But man, it's just been such a great journey. I've met so many great people, and to open up for those legends as well, man. It's really cool.
Yeah, and now you're headlining tours.
We do get to do that sometime.
Yeah, and so it's like big tours. You're going to have a new merch and everything else. Also, there's going to be some music videos coming out from this album too.
Well, we just actually filmed kind of an acoustic, kind of broke down video from "Marry That Girl," and I'm sure there's going to be a bigger video coming with that. And then
and also the guitar tutorial for those people that have to play it at weddings.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
I'm just saying, maybe you should do that on TikTok.
It's actually, that's a good idea, because there's two guitar players playing the intro on that thing.
Yeah,
so
I can tell.
My guitar player,
Thank
he
you.
learned it just on, so one guitar player, and it's a pretty challenging deal. So that's why I was like, man, do I have to play that this morning? Because if I do, I'm going to have to get Lauren to come in here. Because it's like, chewing bubble gum. And
you're going to have to do a tutorial for everybody has to play this at weddings.
Well, I got to learn it first. I got to learn it.
I don't think you're going to have any problem with that. And your voice sounds so good on it.
Thank you, man.
That's the hard thing. It's like, okay, you can work out a hard guitar part, but matching your vocals on stuff, man.
I don't know, man. Guitar's pretty tough.
Everything sounds very strong.
Well, thank you. And I credit that to the fact that we had our own studio that we could just take our time and do vocals.
Right.
And there's days you get in there and you just don't have it.
Yeah.
That's anything. Right. And we didn't have it. I just let's go to the house.
Well, I gotta ask you this hardest question, then, Easton. Obviously, with a huge tour going on this year, brand new album. I think probably your best album to date.
Oh, thanks.
How do you stay fit on the road? Because I know you're a workout nut. I know you eat right. You stay healthy. Playing a lot of shows, traveling all over the country.
Absolutely. We try to hit a gym every day, and I got a good group of guys around me that work out too. So it's kind of a band thing a little bit.
That's awesome.
So we try to find a gym and prioritize that every day. And of course, when I'm in Nashville, I try to hit the gym every day.
So what's your favorite workout song then while you're working out, while you're lifting?
It's so funny. People ask me that, and I don't really listen to music while I lift. It's kind of distracting to me. I don't know. Maybe I'm weird.
No, because I've got a list, but mine's pretty eclectic too.
If I do cardio,
right,
where it gets boring, it's either I'm watching Netflix or I've got something. And it's so funny you say that about this record. I never really listen to my records. I just don't. And but this record, man, I've been going back and just listening to it and like, man, that's pretty cool.
Deep tracks.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what, I want to make sure for our viewers that for your website, to catch you on tour, I know you're going to have merch, you're going to have CDs. I think you should have vinyl, just my opinion.
I agree.
Marry That Girl, obviously that's going to be a whole line of separate merch that will also include
Wedding
different
package.
wedding package.
Yeah,
You
wedding
gotta do that.
package.
You got to do that. And then your social media, and then you'll also have the guitar lessons for the song on TikTok.
Absolutely, yes.
So where do viewers need to go?
Well, EastonCorbin.com. We're on Instagram, Easton Corbin, TikTok, Easton Corbin. Look for the blue check mark.
And there you'll be.
We'll be.
And they can catch you on tour and see you live.
Absolutely.
And maybe do some meet and greets there too.
We'll do that too.
And if they come to the gym, they can work out with you.
Let's work out. Come on. The more the merrier.
I'll tell you what, it's a great album. Add it to your playlist, however you consume music. There's not a bad track on this. I got to tell you, having listened to the whole album, I'm going to add it to my workout playlist, particularly some of those rock and honky tonk songs on there, where you hear the steel guitar and the banjo and all. Let's do country right. Easton Corbin, thanks for coming on the show.
Hey, thank you, brother. Appreciate you so much.
Sponsored by the Big 98, Nashville's #1 for new country and the home of a Bobby Bones Show.